We tend to think of sleep as just downtime, something passive that happens after the day is done, almost like a daily shutdown sequence. But sleep is far from a luxury, and it's definitely not a waste of time. In fact, it's one of the most powerful and overlooked tools for protecting your mental health. What if I told you that the way you sleep tonight could influence how anxious, focused, resilient, or emotionally balanced you feel tomorrow? What if your brain's healing and coping mechanisms were actually powered, not by effort or willpower, but by rest? This is the role of sleep in mental wellness that most people never hear about. And that's what we are going to talk about in this video. Let's be clear. Sleep isn't just rest. It's an active, biologically intelligent process. While you're unconscious, your brain is actually working overtime. It's sorting your memories, regulating emotional responses, flushing out stress chemicals, balancing neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, and helping your body recover from the physical and emotional wear and tear of the day. When you cut sleep short, skip rest, or treat it like an inconvenience, you're not just messing with your energy levels, you're disrupting your emotional immune system. Sleep is not a nice-to-have. It is a foundation of psychological health. Without it, even small stressors feel catastrophic, moods become volatile, and your ability to cope gets thinner and thinner. Sleep is the unsung hero of emotional resilience, and we need to start treating it that way. When you don't sleep well, whether that means pulling all-nighters, sleeping erratically, or just consistently getting under 6 hours a night, your brain starts to misfire. Specifically, the amygdala, which controls emotional reactivity, becomes hyperactive. That means you're more likely to overreact to small things, snap in frustration, or feel waves of anxiety without clear cause. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logical thinking, problem-solving, and impulse control, starts to underperform. So what you're left with is a brain that's more reactive, more impulsive, and less capable of talking itself down. That's why sleep deprivation is directly linked to increased anxiety, depression, emotional dysregulation, and even suicidal thoughts. This isn't just correlation, it's causation backed by neuroscience. Now let's talk about the magical stage of sleep known as REM, rapid eye movement. This is the stage where you dream. And it turns out your brain is doing something crucial during REM. It's processing emotional experiences and separating emotional intensity from the memories themselves. Think of it as your mind's built-in therapist. When you don't get enough REM sleep, your brain struggles to put emotional experiences in context. Trauma stays raw, stress stays unresolved. The emotional charge doesn't fade. That's why people who experience chronic sleep disruption, such as shift workers, new parents, or people with insomnia, often describe feeling like they're always on edge, fragile, or ready to snap. It's not just the exhaustion talking. Their brain hasn't had the chance to metabolize stress properly. Sleep problems don't just cause mental health issues, they're also symptoms of them. Conditions like depression, anxiety disorders, bipolar disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder often go hand in hand with disturbed sleep. For example, people with depression may either sleep excessively or not at all. Those with anxiety often struggle with falling asleep because their minds can't stop racing. PTSD may involve frequent nightmares or hypervigilance during the night. This creates a vicious cycle. Poor sleep worsens mental health, and mental health issues further disrupt sleep. That's why many treatment plans for emotional disorders include sleep hygiene as a primary focus, not just as a side tip, but as a core pillar of recovery. Here's a truth not enough people hear. If you're trying to regulate your emotions without consistent, quality sleep, you're fighting with one hand tied behind your back. Emotional regulation, the ability to stay grounded during conflict, to not let frustration escalate into rage or sadness into despair, is significantly compromised when sleep is neglected. In fact, studies have shown that even a single night of poor sleep can increase emotional reactivity by over 60%. That means something that wouldn't have bothered you yesterday could cause a meltdown today. And it's not because you're dramatic. It's because your brain didn't get a chance to reset overnight. When you prioritize sleep, you're not being lazy. You're giving your nervous system what it needs to function. Now, let's get practical. What does healthy sleep actually look like? For most adults, it's about 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep each night. But it's not just about hours, it's about consistency. Your body thrives on routine, so going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time every day helps regulate your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that affects everything from hormone levels to mood stability. Ideally, you want to spend enough time in deep sleep and REM sleep, which means limiting stimulants like caffeine and blue light before bed. It also means winding down with intention. No doom scrolling, no last-minute stressful emails. Treat your evening like a runway. Slow down gradually. Let your nervous system understand it's safe to rest. If your sleep has been a mess lately, whether due to stress, trauma, or just a chaotic schedule, don't panic. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Start small. Try one of the following. Create a wind-down ritual, like journaling, light stretching, or listening to calming music. Use sleep-promoting scents like lavender or chamomile. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Your brain needs environmental cues to enter rest mode. Practice gratitude or grounding before bed. It eases racing thoughts. And if sleep still feels elusive, don't be afraid to talk to your doctor or therapist. You deserve rest. You deserve peace. And sometimes it takes help to find both. Here's the part most people miss. Prioritizing your sleep is not laziness. It's mental hygiene. It's emotional protection. It's the difference between reacting and responding, breaking and bending, surviving and thriving. Sleep is where your body repairs, your brain rewires, and your spirit resets. It's the quiet foundation beneath every healthy decision, every moment of clarity, and every act of emotional courage. So tonight, and every night, give yourself permission to rest, not as an afterthought, but as the essential ritual that it truly is. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit from it. Be sure to check out our other mental health education videos.